The Western diet already typically includes a lot of red meat, and the promotion of a strict carnivore diet has been going around on social media recently. The diet allows you to eat red meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and minimal dairy products. But how harmful can eating high amounts of red meat be? Before we begin, I will explain what red meat and colon cancer are. Red meat includes beef, veal, lamb, mutton, goat meat, and pork. Colon cancer includes the majority of the large intestine and is the third most prevalent cancer in the world. It is heavily influenced by diet. Obesity alone will increase the risk of colon cancer by 33%. And this leads me to my question: how does red meat consumption lead to colon cancer? I explored 3 research articles to answer my question. This was an in vivo/vitro cell study done on rats and mice. The aim of the study was to assess the in vivo association between heme iron, heterocyclic amines, and endogenous N-nitroso compounds from red meat and colon cancer in rats and mice. The key methods included giving the rats and mice diets containing heme iron, heterocyclic amines, and N-nitroso compounds. The rats and mice were then killed by CO2 asphyxiation. Their large and small intestines, feces, and colon epithelial cells were all used for testing. The study found that heme iron was the main factor contributing to colon cancer by red meat in rats and mice. This study establishes an association between heme iron and red meat and colon cancer, and it additionally proves that heme iron is harmful to rats and mice, not only humans. And here is the data that goes with this study. This was a large prospective cohort study, and it aimed to study the potential mechanisms involved in colorectal cancer by consumption of red meat. The key methods included conducting questionnaires consisting of a large prospective cohort of men and women ages 50 to 71. Questionnaires consisted of a food frequency questionnaire and a risk factor questionnaire. Follow-ups were conducted to obtain data on colorectal cancer among these individuals after years of documentation. The study found that red and processed meat were associated with colorectal cancer, and potential mechanisms include heme iron, nitrates/nitrites, and heterocyclic amines. This study supports my research question by establishing an association between red meat and colon cancer. And here is the data that goes along with this study. This was a randomized controlled crossover trial/feasibility study. The aim of the study was to assess the feasibility of a randomized controlled crossover trial by employing high green leafy vegetable consumption in adults who had an increased risk of colon cancer. Key methods included recruiting individuals with high meat consumption and low leafy green vegetable consumption. Participants were randomized into 4 blocks with dietary intervention. After 4 weeks, they completed questionnaires, provided stool samples, and underwent phlebotomy. The study found that green leafy vegetable dietary intervention was proven to be feasible in adults with a high risk of colon cancer. This study speaks about the association between red meat and colon cancer, as well as explores a dietary intervention that can prevent or minimize the effect of the disease. And here's the data that goes with this study. Now, what are some interventions for colon cancer? The risk of colon cancer can be prevented or reduced by consuming red meat in moderation, following a balanced diet with healthy fats, fruits, vegetables, legumes, fish, grains, and whole grains, and maintaining a healthy weight while exercising regularly. In other words, following a Mediterranean diet would be more than appropriate while still being able to consume red meat in moderation. In conclusion, these studies show that overconsumption of red meat can cause colon cancer due to heme iron, nitrates and nitrites, and heterocyclic amines. It is very important to lead a healthy diet while still enjoying the foods you love in moderation. Red meat isn't inherently bad, but pairing it with a side of vegetables is a great option to increase your fiber and decrease any outcomes of colon cancer.